Budokai Tenkaichi game last week or a week and a half ago, and we're just going to call it Tenkaichi 4 for the video. I don't know what it'll officially be called, but I'm assuming that it's that because why not? Anyway, since the announcement of Tenkaichi 4, there have been several things that I myself have done and have noticed as well from the community. First and foremost, there was a lot more content on some of these older games. Rhyme was always doing them, and kudos to him for keeping those old games alive recently over the last few months and doing what he was doing. But I myself have even delved back into some of these games, and I've never been somebody that was particularly great at some of the older games like the Budokai series and stuff like that, because I'm just not great at fighting games, right? That's part of the reason why I never really delved into fighters, even though I've kind of tried to lab it a few times. I'm just not good at those. And that's not just Dragon Ball, that's anything. Marvel vs. Capcom, I grew up on that game too. I was very bad at it, but I still had fun. Anyways, I've noticed that people are doing more content on that, and there's also more discussion about older Dragon Ball games and the upcoming Dragon Ball game 2. So a lot of people are excited, and I think that that's really, really awesome to see. And one thing that somebody asked me in one of my own videos that I put out talking about Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was to kind of reminisce on Tenkaichi 3 and to give my thoughts about that series as a child, basically, when that came out. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I want to know down below from all of you guys listening, what are your thoughts on Tenkaichi as a series? Is that your favorite game, Tenkaichi 1, 2, or 3? Were those your favorite games growing up? When did you first experience them, etc.? And some of the things I'll mention about myself, maybe you can kind of elaborate as it pertains to you. And I saw that some people were saying recently, on some of my videos as well, that this will be their first time really interacting with the series, or interacting with the series as it's a new series, right? Because obviously the games are super old, so you could have just downloaded them or bought them, whatever it is, and picked them up at any point and played them. But it's not the same as you playing it brand new with, in this day and age, an online community that's going to be playing alongside you, or just experiencing it as a kid and stuff like that. So to talk about myself, the game came out, Tenkaichi 3 came out 2007, 2006. It'll be on the thumbnail. So at that point, I was just entering my teenage years. I was probably about 13 years old. So that'll kind of give you a little bit of a timetable for how old I am. I'm 29, just for the record. So going back then, I was about that age. And first and foremost, I was super duper stoked about it because I've talked about it in the past, albeit it's been some years. I've talked about it in the past, my overall history with the series and where I kind of started off and stuff like that, as a child, obviously younger than 13, and with the original run on Toonami. But I had always picked up basically all of the games. I was super huge on like Legacy of Goku or GT Transformation for the GBA. I was really big on all those. And one game I really enjoyed playing a ton was Budokai 2. I really liked the story mode for that. If I remember correctly, it had like a little bit of a different layout, which was very different compared to like some of the other stuff I had experienced up to that point. So for me, the game came out in that time period, and like I said, I was about that old, and I remember that me and my cousin went to, I believe, EB Games at the time. It was EB Games, and then I believe later on GameStop buys them, and they just kind of take over, right? I'd have to look some of the stuff up to fact check, but it was EB Games. Maybe they still exist in some parts of the world. And the game came out, my aunt bought it for us, and we rushed home, right? And we hook up the PS2 on the big screen TV. It was a really, really big boy back then, We still had those big old TVs back then. But anyways, we had the big screen. That thing probably was about like 55 inches, so it's not like terribly big to where it's like really, really like huge. Like right now I've got like a 70 something in my living room, but as a kid, that thing's huge. We hook it up, and I just remember my aunt was on the phone talking about how much we love these games and all that stuff, because my cousin is a few years old, younger than me. I'm the original, the first grandkid. So my cousin, he's the second one. He's a few years younger than me. And he always kind of played all these games with me. I have younger brothers, but they were just a little bit younger, right? So I mainly kind of gravitated towards my cousin. He was like a little brother to me. And later on in life, after my mom passes and some other things happen, I eventually kind of move in with him. And again, he's more like a little brother to me. But nonetheless, he and I always played everything, and we could go all the way back to like even again a younger age with the Dreamcast, and me and him were always on like Power Stone and Sonic and just a bunch of stuff. So me and him always did this. So we are playing Tenkaichi 3 on the big screen TV, and I remember getting so mad at my cousin because he was just, for whatever reason, dominating me with Kid Buu. I believe I was Goku and he was Kid Buu, and we were playing on the Kame House, and you could go underwater, right? Anywho, I could be wrong about that. Just don't quote me. That's how I remember it, because I haven't really played it since, as I'll mention in a second. And I just remember just getting dominated and getting so mad that I'm shifting characters and I'm still getting dominated. And the thing is, my cousin, he used to live out in Sacramento. I lived in LA, so I wouldn't spend a ton of time with him. We would come down every summer, every winter break or Christmas. You get a couple weeks off then too. We would come down then, and it was like the first thing he says to me is, "Yo, D, I've been training, man." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever. I'll still kick your butt." We hook it up, and he just destroys me. So yeah, he was clearly getting better. So that's kind of one of the oldest memories I have with it. I mean, I have some memories for the first game too, but for me, I was kind of like the rebel kid. My dad didn't really want me playing games too much. We had a PS2. He would kind of take it or the wires away, so I couldn't play it unless he wanted me to play it, type deal. And so I would kind of like sneak in his office when he's gone or he's asleep late at night, and I'd hook it up, and I was that kid. So I have some memories, but a lot of them are like playing while he's gone, or he like sneaks out at the house for whatever reason at night. And again, this is kind of, we're just living with, me and my brother are living with my dad because my mom had passed, and I'm like, dude, where are you going? We're like too young technically to kind of be left alone here. Anyways, and so I'm like watching out the window while he's gone and waiting for him to come back. So I'm just sneaking and playing. And this is Tenkaichi 1. This is Budokai 2, 3, games like that. Anyway, so kind of like fast forwarding. I've said this before in that other video that I talked about where I talk about my history of the series. I kind of leave Dragon Ball alone for a little bit at this period. It's not so much me. It's that Dragon Ball kind of goes away anyway, right? There's not really too much going on until Battle of Gods comes out, and that's when I kind of get back into it. So there was a 5-6 year stretch there where there wasn't very much Dragon Ball in circulation anyway, and it wasn't a big part of my life. And when Battle of Gods came out, I got back into the series. I rewatched GT. I downloaded all of it on my phone and rewatched it. Rewatched all of Dragon Ball Z. I got really into watching Dragon Ball, and at that point, Dragon Ball became my favorite series. It still is today. I recently retweeted a post from Let's Go All Out. Herms. You may know Herms, may not, but I believe he works with Kanzenshu. You may know that site too. Anywho. And he posted about Tien from that tournament where right after the time skip, and they've got Cyborg Tao, and Tien is just such an alpha in Dragon Ball, right? If you haven't seen Dragon Ball, the original, definitely check it out. It's that scene right there just reaffirmed how cool that series gets to me. It starts off kind of slow, kind of wonky. The jokes didn't age well by today's standards. I still kind of laugh at them because I can kind of escape from where we are today, if that makes sense. But anywho, so I rewatched all the series, got into it in Japanese, actually. I really like it in Japanese. And then from there, I do go ahead and download all of the games again and pick it up again and try to play it, and I'm still really bad. So, but the funny thing is we kind of transition into 2015-16, a couple of years after that, and then we have Dokkan, and Dokkan holds me over with my Dragon Ball craving, and I'm still watching Super because Super is on. And then we have Legends, and here we are. So I haven't played these games in an extremely long time, a lot of them. I've played some of them, like, some of them. I haven't played most of the Game Boy ones. I haven't played most of the DS ones. Like Harukanara Densetsu was my stuff growing up on DS. I haven't played it much. I tried to play it on the channel a few years ago. I didn't play much of the original PS2 games very much anymore. The games I kind of gravitated towards were the ones that were kind of more recent at that point. Like, Bursum is really old. It came out like when the PS3 first launched, like 2007 or whatever. Infinite World also in that period too. That was the only PS2 game I went back to because Infinite World was my favorite game from that series. A little bit of a different series, but anywho. And then I didn't really get into Ultimate Tenkaichi because that's just not a good game. I did try Connect and really started playing a lot of Xenoverse because ever since then it was just Xenoverse, and it's still Xenoverse. So that's more or less kind of where things are for me. But just going back to it, it really has. This is what I said all that to say. I had to explain it. The series and Dragon Ball as a whole, but that series really has some really, really cool memories for me growing up as a kid. And I could have elaborated more on some of the story that I told with me and my cousin just getting destroyed. I could have elaborated more, but for the sake of the video, I didn't really want to. But it really does hold a nice nostalgic sense for me. And I remember even after that part, obviously we had the game from there on. We played more. I took the game home, continued to play, continued to sneak behind my dad's back and play. And I would play with my little brother. Again, he's a few years younger than my cousin, who's a few years younger than me. And so, you know, I would continue to play, and I continued to kind of grow with the game going forward. And it just holds a nice place in my heart. So to see that series coming back is amazing to me. It's not so much that it's exclusive to Tenkaichi. I want to say that. It's not so much that it's exclusive to Tenkaichi and that in the Tenkaichi series. Because if I really wanted to, I could have made this video about Budokai 1. Because Budokai 1 is where it all starts on PS2 for me. And I could go really far back and talk about the memories I have with that game. And if Budokai were to get another game again, right? I could talk about that too and have similar thoughts and to say it's amazing that it's back, right? Because I'm not somebody that's going to tell you that I have really a preference, because I suck at the Budokai games. I suck at them. My favorite PS2 game is probably Infinite World, though, for the record. But I really enjoyed Tenkaichi 3. And one thing I really thought about Tenkaichi 3 when I finished that game was just the insane roster. It was so easy to play that game all day after I went back home and, you know, school started up. It's so easy to just come home, hook that game up, try to play it whenever I could, whenever I was available to, and just play it. Like, it just, time flew by because so many characters. It seemed like you never ran out of characters to use or try or things to do. But this is where nostalgia is done right, because a lot of people will say, oh, this series is coming back, or oh, this series is getting a remaster or a remake. They always want to do that. Hollywood or Japan or these studios, they only want to feed off of that. And some of that is true, but it's not inherently a bad thing for there to be continuations for existing properties that came out, or for there to be remakes of existing. It's not inherently a bad thing. So for me, to see another game added into that series, whether it's called 4 or not, is going to be an amazing thing, and I want to play content for it going forward. Now, I've tried to pick up Tenkaichi. Dude, there are so many mechanics in that game. I was going through the tutorial again and just training, and I'm like, dude, this game it's such an in-depth game. Like, I don't remember Xenoverse being this complicated. Like, there's so many different things. And I recently told you guys in videos, or in a video, that I have an upcoming channel coming where I will be doing gaming content. It's not a gaming channel. There might be some Let's Plays, some game streams, maybe some stuff like that. But it's more so a game review channel, where not so much I review games in particular, maybe I'll do that, but where I talk about games in a far more structured way, because I'll take notes, I'll, you know, structure it out. But similar to today's video, where I do this type of thing for a ton of games, or games that I'm experiencing for the first time ever. I am playing, for example, Arkham Asylum. That's the first one, right? Playing Arkham Asylum right now for the very first time, and I'm recording a video for that. So that channel is coming, and my opinions on games. And I will probably wind up doing similar videos like that Arkham Asylum one, were, again, similar vein to this one, but far more structured, where I talk about my experiences with it, first time experiencing it, cool things I like, things I don't like, etc. On that channel, I'll probably do some similar stuff for Dragon Ball games. I haven't yet, because I've been busy is what I'm saying, but I will be revisiting some of these games. And you will see a lot of content from me on some of these games. On this channel, you will see probably Tenkaichi 3 videos like this, or 4 videos where I do discussions, wish lists, things like that. I'll probably mix in some content. I've seen some of my friends doing that too. I need to get a little better before I'm comfortable doing that. But there's just a ton of content coming, and I'm excited for this, man. I'm really, just to kind of end this off, really wondering when and where that next Dragon Ball mobile title will be, and when or where the next Dragon Ball series is going to get announced, because it's always a renaissance. It's always a party when Dragon Ball gets new stuff. So those are the two things I have at the top of my wish list. Game announced, perfect. New mobile title, I want to see it, because you know they got to have it if it works. And the anime returning. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts about the series or parts of the series, whether it's the original Budokai or it's Budokai Tenkaichi or sagas. I could do a video like that for sagas. I have a really fun memory for sagas. Like, seriously, it was so fun experiencing these games when they were new. Anyways, have an awesome day, guys. I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next one.